Vapour Lab. Vapour, Vapour, Vapour. We're not here to talk about Vapour today. We're here to talk about software, of course. So we're at Vapour Lab in London, live with the BitNation Meetup. Hey, how you doing? You well? Should we switch to the other camera so you don't have to look at my ugly face the whole fucking time? Yeah, let's do that. We've even got a professional mic set up now. Proper mics. Okay, you're on the mic. You're on the professional mic. Brand new professional mic. Look at that. Glorious. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. It sounds great.
Great. I have absolutely no idea how this thing is going to go. We're on air. So does somebody want to take that through?
We're still waiting for Susanne.
We're actually waiting for the Chief Executive Officer of BitNation. Executive, all about execution. So let's see if she can executate herself here.
Drag more people downstairs before we kick it off. For now, guys, chat amongst yourselves. We'll kick things off in a few
Vapour. So let's do a little.
I've got a question. Are they vaping inside the Vapour Lab?
They are vaping inside of the Vapour Lab. That's right. They are actually. There is live vapor. I can see the vapor from here. We've got Eric Benz on the mic. He's going to do a bit of MCing, right?
Could you switch these off? Yes.
Turn off the little light.
Oh, nice. Mood lighting. Let's do a bit of
get a little mood lighting.
See
the mood is being set for BitNation.
If you just stand it all the way down, press it, don't just turn it.
I have to. I pressed it, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is the BitNation Governance 2.0. If you don't have 2.0 in your brand right now, you are missing out on the cycle, okay? People, get this straight. Put 2.0 in your name and you will make 10x, guaranteed. So this is we've got a countdown timer here, 87 days to go until I'm not sure entirely. There's also a white paper as well, which all the links are in the comments below. This is the white paper. It's very white, and it's also available for people to put comments, which is good, nice and open source. So, what was your question, Theo?
Hold on, I've got a bunch of questions, but I'll go through of them. I mean, some of them are more serious, and some of them are, more comical. But for example, there's a lot of rumors going around. I mean, I guess this project is based in Europe or in the UK, but there's a lot of rumors going around, kind of quietly, that at this big thing, this big Expo Money 2020, where the Bit license is going to be presented. It also happens to be like a double whammy day. It's also in a U.S. Midterm election day. And the government really likes to do these double, triple whammies and like hit home runs. And the rumor is that they're going to make some more announcements about maybe some companies that have issued tokens or done kind of fundraising with tokens and this kind of stuff in the crypto economy right now, and that they might be having some trouble. I mean, I don't know for sure what's going on. I'm not trying to spread FUD, but there are rumors going around, and I don't know, and it does have something to do with tokens, from what I understand, and this whole pre-sale and all that kind of stuff. So I think what's happening is that government. It's funny that it's BitNation that's about government, but the legacy governments that we have right now are really taking notice to these mega pre-sales with millions of dollars, and they're looking at their regulations and they're like, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't fall. They didn't ask us, and if BitNation has thought about this and if they have an opinion, and they have on their website something about, if you're in the U.S., this doesn't apply to you or something like that. I don't know. It's all a little confusing. Just get their opinion about this whole thing about regulation and how that works with this pre-sale. Know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. Sorry, just there. So I think you're absolutely right. Technically, as far as I'm aware, BitNation isn't registered anywhere in any country, and that was kind of part of the problem and why we had the resignation. The link is in the description below. A few people who were claiming to be central to the project were claiming that they had problems with the fact that it was just based on the blockchain, was the quote that we heard.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds good, but I just wonder how you're going to deal with, coming up in 1 month when at least, okay, America is only one country, but it's a big one in the blockchain businesses and stuff. When, the hammer comes down and they're like, okay, if you want to do this pre-sale stuff, you've got to, you got to get your Bit license 2.0 even to even start this kind of stuff. How are they going to deal with that? I don't know what's going to happen, but I think something is going to happen around that date.
What do you think in terms of the regulators?
Yeah, I think they've looked at some of these projects, and they've probably looked at it from 2 points of view. They've looked at it like, one, okay, we want a piece of that pie. You didn't ask us for permission. We want to tax it. We want to regulate it. And the other point of view, they've said, okay, we have to be consumer protection advocates. If they are really or not is a different thing, but that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, hey, you didn't, do this the correct way. If you're going to have like we were talking about, you can't just sell ideas and elude that it's going to be something else, and you can't sell shares because you're not a company, and you can't give dividends because it's not shares. So you can't say so what the hell is it that you're selling? You see what I mean? That's what the government is saying.
Well, that's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. There are strict regulations around it, and as Charles Hoskinson was saying last time, Twitter can't just ignore it. Like his quote was that the regulations are anonymous. Like when you're just like, but then you're saying you're entirely based on the blockchain. I think you're just asking for trouble.
I mean, if they're ready for that, that's okay. But the thing is, they're asking for investors, and I don't know. Okay. The other question, just to make it a little, not to just ramble, is what do I get out of it? So if I buy 1,000 BitNation coin or whatever, equity or whatever the hell they're calling it, what do I get? So if I buy 1,000 shares of a company, if another really big company buys that company, then I'm entitled to a cut of that when they get sold. You know what I mean? Or I'm entitled to dividends, or I don't know what. But if I buy 1,000 of this, well, what does that mean? And why do I have to buy it now? Can I just buy it later, or what does the special in-group get that are the early adapters that the late adapters don't get?
I like it. The early adapters is a great way of saying it, and the thing is that it's the idea behind it is, as Susanne explained to me in the Skype, and she put it really well, and she's got a lot of passion, and I really respect that. She's very driven, and she was saying that the idea is that we don't give out dividends on these XBNs until we start delivering. But then the obvious question next is, well, under what conditions do those dividends get released? Is it an algorithm controlling that? And one of the things that I think Nathan Wozniak brought up in the Resignation article was that this hadn't been addressed properly, that there was no multi-signature wallet, that you were entirely relying on the trust of the counterparty.
Well, I mean, as long as that's transparent, it's okay. But it seems like it's just kind of up in the air. And from what I understand, they're already, asking for money, which I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I have only looked at the website for less than a half hour, so I can't say that I'm really educated. But I still can't figure out where's the value. What do I get? I mean, if it's just an altcoin, then I know it's an altcoin, and I know what's up with that. Okay, that's fine, because that's, hey, we are an altcoin, and this is what we do, and we have new features, or we don't have new features, or whatever. Okay, that's fine. But this is presented as equity. So what do I have equity in? Though I have equity in a blockchain business that has some really cool ideas, but I still don't see how and why I should invest in it, and how, and I see zero mention of what the risk is, except that if I'm an American, go away. So far.
You bring up a great point. We should actually.
What I'm seeing here.
Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, what I see here is they're selling something with no actual product. They're selling an idea and say, oh yeah, we're going to do all these great things, but they don't have anything hard coded yet. Yeah, we're going to do this algorithm, but they don't have an algorithm made yet. So I'd be like, for me, I wouldn't invest in anything until I actually saw a working algorithm. You don't need $2 million to write an algorithm. You can get a couple kids on a weekend to do that. It's not that big of a deal to do that sort of thing.
No, exactly. We should just say that, you know, look, Susanne has a lot of passion. She's got a lot of energy. And I don't know many people within this particular circle of Bitcoin who are going to disagree with her ideas here. Like, her diagnosis is spot on. Her passion is undeniable. The ideas are fantastic. But she's not unique in having these ideas. And she does address it. And she does say that, look, you know, this is a forkable project. But of course, that begs the question of where is the project? Like, the GitHub is largely empty. There's no original code on there. Most of what you're going to find interesting is in this white paper, but the white paper isn't actually academic. Like, let me just show you. Right, down at the bottom, all the conclusion. A lot of how we're going to do things.
You're breaking up a lot, Chris.
Coming through now. We're still waiting for Susanne, so I'm just trying to give as much text as I can, really. I mean, I just made the comment that am I coming through okay or no? Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up some. Right now you're okay. Try again.
Okay, let me try again. The comment I made at the bottom is that we're left all the way to the conclusion of the white paper here at the bottom until we even address the issue of how the sustainability of this project is managed, because she's talking about global embassies and advocates and, you know, energized, passionate individuals that are going to go around advocating for this kind of opt-in voluntary system, which is fantastic. I'd love to see that exist, but then we only really get to the monetization right at the very end in the conclusion. And my input was that this needs a section all of its own. Like, you really do need to be addressing this, and so I just encourage anyone really to come to this document and check it out.
So I'm already.
Yeah.
I was able to answer some of my own questions. It's really amazing that you can do that. You just go to the section called FAQ, frequently asked questions, and they have a lot of them there. So, basically, it's clear. They say that XBN is not a currency, and that it's BitNation's corporate equity. Just like if you owned equity shares in an LLC, which pays dividends on the corporate profit. But BitNation uses the blockchain technology to create and distribute equity in a similar way to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. It's called crypto equity. You can read more about it here. Okay, so crypto equity. It's one of those new buzzwords. And is BitNation a company? BitNation is a distributed organization incorporated on the Bitcoin blockchain. Read more about DOs and DAOs here. So that's about distributed autonomous organizations, etc. Which is a great idea. I'm behind those concepts, and I think I kind of agree with you, Chris. I like a lot of the ideas. It's just I'm a little hesitant and afraid of some of the pre-sale. Yeah, Jamie?
It says Bitcoin blockchain. Are they using the real, actual Bitcoin blockchain, and have they actually put code in the Bitcoin blockchain?
Yeah, well, Chris said that it's based on counterparty, so that makes it really easy to at least make tokens, so coins basically, and to be able, and it makes it very easy to pay dividends on them. Yeah, it's quite easy to do. Anyone can do it. You don't even have to be a coder or anything. All you have to do is be able to create an account, basically, and you would be able to have enough brains to do it. So that's already really easily doable, and that's actually what I like about Counterparty, and because Counterparty itself is a platform that you can also put into other blockchains. You don't have to use the Bitcoin blockchain, so it's forkable. This thing is open source technology, and you could put it on any blockchain. So like Viacoin has it on theirs, or you could put it, or they're doing it on Doge Party, or you could do it on Dogecoin. You could put it on anyone, and it's pretty easy to use, and it's very accessible for people to do this kind of thing.
So
yeah.
So that's not what makes it. That's not what makes BitNation unique. Then that's
No,
something that's pretty easy to do.
it's pretty easy to make tokens and pay out dividends right now. Yeah, that's very easy to do. I can do it. If you want, if you post your counterparty address in the comments, then I will send you my counterparty crypto asset. It's called Beep, and I might even pay you a dividend. So I have one, but I'm just not using it for anything.
Right. So I think that's the point here is what they're offering doesn't seem to be very unique and anybody can do it. So where is this $2 million going to go to that they want to raise?
Well, they need it for development for other things, and I mean what they're doing is more complicated than what I said. It's just than paying dividends and so on. It's much more complicated, but that would be the first step, and that's already really easy to do. But I mean, they're talking about making contracts and other things, and I'd have to go through the white paper and read about how they want to go about that. But it wouldn't be. I could see how it wouldn't be that hard to use this infrastructure that already exists to do a lot of the things they're talking about. Yeah, and I guess if I'm, when I come from a worst case scenario, if I'm a regulator and there's no company in no country, then it's kind of hard for me to regulate them, which could be clever in some ways, but it's we know who is behind it. I mean, you just go to the team. So someone has to be accountable. If I'm a legacy government, I'm going to look for who's accountable, and I'm going to go to team. Well, they'll have someone called a CEO, and so they're, I don't know. I'm just worried that they're going to get a hammer, ban hammer.
Yeah, well, Susan's been very public and had her name out there. She's been on Max Kaiser and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, that's obviously, if I was a regulator, that's the person I would go after to be, say, oh, you didn't get permission from my government, I could see, Ben Losky and his team of super regulators busting in her door.
Sure.
They'll get Interpol to go after these people. But now we had the 3 people from their resign yesterday, late yesterday, citing some various reasons that seem very, very legitimate reasons why they would resign, and I thought, that brought up a lot of legitimate reasons why I would be very hesitant in investing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing that Susanne said, she said in the Skype last night, was that they weren't core developers. They weren't as high up as they were claiming. So just in her defense, I think that's what she's going to claim. And I guess my concern would be that if can you not hear me?
Your audio, it sounds like you're underwater.
Oh no, that's not good at all. Let's try turning it up. Is that a little bit better?
Yes.
Okay, clearly not. Okay, great. So I think one of the things that I'm a bit concerned about is that the regulators are going to use projects like this that not necessarily, because BitNation doesn't look like it's a scam. It's just that it's inadvertently created that appearance from the outside because it hasn't delivered anything and it's asked for money up front. And the industry right now is in a place where we're all getting a little bit tired of the non-execution. So in a way, it's just bad timing on their part. They've come up with some great ideas at the wrong time and done it in slightly the wrong way. And I'm just worried that the regulators use this as an excuse, maybe not this project, but one very soon as an excuse to come down like a ton of bricks on us.
Yeah, so basically there has to be a way for you to raise money without promising the world or whatever that you're going to get rich. There has to be a way where you can crowdfund. You don't promise that you get these cool tokens and that speculators are going to buy them up. Because what's going to happen, as I fear, is even if everything went well, there might be a conflict happening because there's going to be some people that were investors and speculated on getting a good return on investment. And there's going to be users that have come in to use the system and buy the tokens. And then you might have a conflict there about, you know, the price. They're going to have different ideas about the price. I can't really, it's kind of hard to explain. There's going to be a whole lot owned by speculators, and they're going to control the price, and they're not going to be using it. You see what I mean? And the users are going to be, the price is going to be controlled by the people that speculated and bought in, and not by the people really using it, is what could happen. Doesn't mean it will happen, but that's a chance that that happens. You know what I mean? And also, if I'm a...
that happens a lot on most any, like the altcoins. That's what happens a lot.
Exactly. That happens with them.
The
and another thing that
control the price.
Well, yeah, but at least then you know with an altcoin, and that's basically what it's about. Okay, but the thing that
Right.
if I'm going to pump a bunch of money in here, it has a distribution scheme where founders get 10%, employees get 15%, ambassador network gets 25%, and okay, so let's say founders 10%, employees 15%. Okay, let's say, for example, it's not a good case, but if we're going to put money into something, we've got to go with the worst case or a bad case scenario. Let's say that a lot of people invested, and who is going to get the inside info that the regulators are going to come down hard on a project first? The speculators that bought in, or the employees? Well, probably the employees.
The employees are going to get the letter because they're going to get a cease and desist letter.
Right. And if I was an employee and I got a cease and desist letter, and I'm holding 20,000 coins that are about to be totally worthless, and that means I got paid nothing, then I might consider dumping them. You see what I mean? And so, just so everybody
Absolutely.
realizes that before they put a whole bunch in, and that could be what happens if there is something bad that happens. You see what I don't know if I haven't worked out the numbers, or I don't even know if that's totally realistic, but something like that could happen. You just have to be aware.
That's total speculation and worst case scenario we're talking about here. So, and I don't think that this is a scam set out by Susan or anybody with BitNation. I think that it's probably something like Chris said, that it may appear as a scam from the outside because it's something different for one thing, and it's not a clear. It's very confusing to look at. When you look at their website, it's like, well, what exactly are they offering? And they really are not offering anything yet that we can really see. So it reminds me of the old saying, baffle them with bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and on a lighter, I understand. On a lighter note, I was wondering if there's a bounty for a BitNation flag or a BitNation anthem, and if they have a national bird or a national mineral or a national flower yet.
Or should we write a song? We're both songwriters, Steve. We could write a national anthem.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. This is the place where you can tweet #MyBitNation, or you can just tweet me, which is at Mr. Chris Ellis on Twitter. So we're about 15 minutes away from Susanne turning up. She's just on her way here apparently.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry, but I might come back later.
So good. You've been so great. You've been absolutely bang on the money, and now you've got to leave us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I've got life. I got regular life. That's the thing.
You've got life. Is it an anarchist life? Is it a voluntarist life?
Well, I mean, you volunteer to take the shit that you live in, right?
That's a very good way of putting it. Words to live by. I like it. Thanks a lot
See
for your
you.
time.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
And
Just
I
me
I was
and
the
me
one
in
that
this forum.